Today's video is brought to you by ablmerch.com. Grab your 1776 hats, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, and more through the link in the description box below. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Atlanta City Councilman Antonio Brown. This guy wanted to defund the police to the tune of $73 million. He voted for it, although it didn't pass ultimately. He wanted to do it. Now, this same guy had his car stolen, well, really carjacked. We'll talk about that difference in a little bit in Atlanta, Georgia. Not in Stone Mountain, Lithonia, Alpharetta, Marietta. In Atlanta city limits, his car was taken from him. Now, when that happened, who did he call? Did he call Ghostbusters? Did he call his cousin them? Did he call the Orkin man? No, he didn't. He called the police, and he had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to complain about how long he was on hold and how long it took for them to arrive on scene. Why are you complaining, sir? You wanted the police to be defunded. This is what you would get if that were to go through. Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and roll the news clip. In this clip, you'll see what Antonio Brown looks like. You'll hear from him. You'll see where he's at, and you'll kind of see how the things transpired that day. After we get done watching that, I'll talk about what he said there. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep, detailed analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Today, one of Atlanta's council members became a victim of the city's surging crime problem. He was nearly dragged down the street by young thieves. They were driving away with his car. It happened along Verbena Street near Hamilton E. Holmes and I-20 in Northwest Atlanta. Channel 2's Tom Regan is live there. And Tom, the councilman says he was there to talk about neighborhood redevelopment.
Right, Leonard. The councilman told me that he was parked actually right here in front of this building, about to meet up with a neighborhood association person and a developer. Moments later, he watched in shock as 4 kids jumped into his car and took off.
We were engaged in conversation. We looked up, and one kid was in the driver's seat.
When Councilman Antonio Brown climbed out of his car to greet someone less than 10 feet away, he didn't think much of a group of kids walking by.
Somewhere between 7 and 11 years old. So you don't immediately think, oh, these kids are getting ready to steal my car.
But that's exactly what they did in a matter of seconds, jumping into his unlocked Mercedes-Benz and hitting the push-button start.
He started to hit on the gas, Ben let go, and then the kid started to drag me in the car a half of a block. He started to speed up, and I knew that if I had not let go, I could have probably killed myself because he was going so fast.
Neighborhood Association member Ben Norman told me he struck the pavement trying to stop the car.
So I got some scratches and stuff. Because they took off out of the car, and I kind of fell down on the ground for a minute.
The councilman says he called 911 and waited for 5 minutes to speak to a dispatcher. He said it took 45 minutes for police to arrive because his call was marked low priority in error. Remarkably, he told me he won't file charges against the youngsters who stole his car. He believes they acted out of hopelessness, lack of support, and opportunity.
I don't know if someone else put them up to doing it. I don't know what the circumstance was, but it was just unfortunate to see kids that young engaging in criminal behavior.
Brown, who's running for mayor, says some systematic changes must be made for Atlanta to curb its rising crime rate. Police are still looking for his car and the kids who stole it. Live in Northwest Atlanta, Tom Regan, Channel 2 Action News.
All right, you saw that, you heard that. Now, there is a lot to quote-unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. I don't know where to start. I mean, okay, first things first, I'm not quite sure if they said it in this clip, but I got to back up a little bit and tell you a little bit about Mr. Antonio Brown. Now, he's currently under indictment on federal fraud charges, several fraud charges. Are you surprised? I'm not. Typical Atlanta scammer, but Antonio Brown says that the allegations happened before 2019 when he became a city councilman. I'm not really sure when they happened, if he did it or if he didn't do it, but I do know that he had a 2016 Mercedes, I think, 450 keyless entry. Maybe some of the fraud charges could be related to that purchase. I'm not sure what he was doing before he became a city councilman. I'm not sure what his career is. Is he some kind of biochemist, a lawyer, a real estate mogul? I don't know, but I digress. If you don't want to press charges on the so-called kids that carjacked you, really, because on the news, they're talking about the car was stolen, the car was taken, kids hopped in it and they drove off. Well, it's a little bit different when you're right there and you're trying to prevent them from taking it and they drag you on the ground for half a block and you had to let go to prevent from dying. That's called carjacking. It's just like burglary and robbery. If you go to somebody's house, you enter the property and you take some things while they're gone, that's called burglary. Now, robbery is when you get the pistol, when it's some kind of like physical interaction, that's called robbery. What happened to him was a carjacking. In my opinion, if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments below. But if you don't want to press charges, what's the point in calling the police? If you want to defund the police, why are you calling them? Take care of it yourself. Go down to where you were at. And I'm not really sure why he was there. He had just come from a ribbon cutting ceremony on Moreland, closer to the east side. But then you all over there in Northwest. I'm not sure where you out there in the ghetto like that. Who you were talking to. I mean, are you still kind of, you got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, Mr. Brown? What's going on? I don't know, but I digress. The point is that I'm not really sure why he was out there. But if you don't want to press charges, why call the police? If you want to defund them, why call the police? You do it. You go out there to the ghetto you were just at and you retrieve your own car. Because if you don't want to press charges, how are they going to get the car back? What if they find it and try to recover it and they say, "No, that's my car. He stole my car." Like, you can't, I don't understand how that really works. How can you report it stolen, but then at the same time, you don't want to press charges on those who stole your car? How are you going to get it back? Just give it up. And a big part of the reason why he may not want to press charges is because that vehicle could be caught up in that federal indictment. I'm not sure, but maybe that's why. And of course, he wants to, have this super woke image, super pro-black, blackity black. And I'm not sure if he's black or what's going on. You looking like Tito Puentes. You looking like Mark Anthony. You looking like, a Latin pop star from the 1970s. I'm not really sure if you're black or what's going on. Antonio Brown does appear to be a black name, but I'm kind of not really getting the black vibe. I'm just putting it out there because it's an elephant in the room and everybody's thinking it, but I'll move right along. Anyway, this is what wokeness gets you. Sir, you got carjacked in Atlanta. All right. And you should know better than to leave yourself open like that. First of all, observe your surroundings. You know where you at. Talking about, whoa, they look so young. I didn't think they were going to come carjack me. Anybody in that area might carjack you or do something to you. Anybody. And you got a keyless entry out there, that's vulnerable because if you right by the car, all they got to do is hop inside and press the button. That's it. That's all they got to do. Boom, and they gone. And if you're kind of close to it but not right up on it, these guys are smart. Just because they're in the hood and they're so-called impoverished and underprivileged does not mean they don't have any kind of knowledge. They can go get some tools to spoof your key, meaning all they got to do is get close enough to your key with some kind of device. I won't say what it is right here, although I do know. I'm not a criminal. I just know things like this. They can get some kind of device, get close to where your key is, and then relay that to somebody else that's right by your car. Now they've copied your key digitally, and they got full access, and they off to the races. So you got to protect yourself in areas like this. Don't hop out of your car and just be lollygagging in the area like that. I mean, guys like this, I don't understand really where they're coming from. They don't understand the streets like that. They think that they have solutions that make sense, although they don't. With him, I can't really call it because he has that federal indictment on his head, so that could be part of it. But another part is that they don't understand the way these kids operate. They don't really get it. They think that, oh, it's just, because they're in poverty and they commit crime. No. They just want to commit crime. The poverty, I mean, that's no excuse to go out there and do things like this. That's no excuse to abandon your morality. All right. And good luck getting that car back. You don't want to press charges. And why complain about how long the police took to get out there? Yeah, they're going to say low priority because you don't want to press charges. You don't care about your car. I mean, you're not bleeding or dead or nothing like that. So what's the point in rushing out there? And if you want to defund the police, expect more of that. You're going to be on hold for longer than 5 minutes. If you take money away from the cops, they're going to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. If you're not shot or dead, they get there whenever they want to get there. That's kind of how it goes. And that's the problem that people in areas like this see as I close. They always say, well, the police, they take their sweet time. You be on hold. They might not even show up at all. That's the problem. The issue is never we're over-policed. There's too much police. That's never, ever been the case. From my experience in the hood, I'm not from the A, but I'm from Virginia. It's the same thing going on there in the hood. The police don't show up when you want them to show up. They take the sweet time because there's not enough of them. They're kind of overstretched in the area like that. And a lot of times they get called for petty disturbances, things that the police will need to get called for. So there's not an over-policing problem. That's not even the case. The problem is you got these miscreants, these ne'er-do-wells, these just hooligans, hood rats out here doing whatever they want to do. And then guys like Antonio Brown not wanting to press charges. Just like if you have a domestic situation, right? You got this guy beating his wife up for the 15th time in 2 days. They keep calling the cops. She keeps saying, oh, get out of here. She tries to fight the officers when the officers show up. So it's like, if you're not getting ready to expire, we'll get there when we get there. Because what's the point in rushing to a scene when people don't want to cooperate, don't nobody know nothing, and the car probably in Griffin by now, maybe even in Tallahassee or somewhere in Mexico. So what's the point? You're wasting your time. But as I close, I want to say this. I think this is a wake-up call to the city councilman, whether he wants to admit it or not. Maybe them federales and got on his back and said, hey, you want to talk about that car? Well, that car is an investigation. Might as well let it go. Just let it go now, because if you didn't let it go, that might be evidence that they're going to use against you. Either way, it probably would be. But I think that if he's being honest, if he can speak outside of the federal indictment on his head, I think he would say that maybe the whole defund the police thing might not be a good idea. Just maybe. If the police took 45 minutes to get there now, while they are not officially defunded, what's going to be the turnaround when they do get defunded if Mr. Brown was to get his way? It's quite simple to see what's going on here, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about this guy, Antonio Brown, getting carjacked, basically broad daylight, from what I'm able to understand, right there in Atlanta, after he said, let's defund the police? Is this irony? Is that what that is? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at with it. A lot of these woke guys are going to get the wake-up call. Now, I don't wish that on them. I wish everybody peace and love and happiness, but I'm just being honest here. They're going to get that wake-up call. We've seen it happen time and time again. Guys like Akon, the music producer and singer-rapper, he got carjacked. Well, not carjacked. His car was stolen. Like, he was at a gas station. Some of the boys hopped in, drove straight off. That's why I say, if I'm in Atlanta, I don't get gas like in the perimeter. I'm gonna go to at least Marietta and get my gas out there. I'm not, if I travel and I'm leaving from East Point, I'm going to wait till I get on 75 straight up and pass all the nonsense before I stop. Especially at night, you asking for it. You're asking for it. People like myself who are honest and others understand that. Now, when will some of these woke jokers like Akon and Antonio Brown get the picture? Okay, your car's gone and ain't coming back no more. You got regular guys getting shot, killed on the interstate in the A. When you see this happen over and over again, the crime spiking, 50% rise in homicide, when you see things like that going on, I think the reality begins to set in. And if it doesn't set in, then you got to ask, what are you thinking about? What are you really doing? What is your actual focus and end game here? But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share. and subscribe. Peace.